I pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Story of your life.
I was thinking I'd get more. Yes, sir. You want to ask me to do
David, ready for roll call?
Hi, TTC Chairperson Tom Hooper. TTC Vice Chairperson Brock Gibson.
Here.
TTC Member Amanda Schwint.
Here.
TTC Member Whitney Tucker. TTC Member Rose Ahi.
Here.
Board Liaison Joe Steiger.
Here.
Chamber of Commerce Rep Dina Kreitler.
Here.
St. Genevieve County Rep Corey Ford. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, we have our approval of minutes from January 21st meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve it. I'll second.
Motion and second. All approved?
Aye.
Any dissent? Motion carries. Financial report is in our packet.
Let's see. Yep, just as in last month, our, things are moving along, I think we're all still kind of struggling to find a common thread between these numbers here. So, yeah, we've already collected almost half of what we did last year, so that's a good sign. We're on pace to, continue the steady upward trend that we've been seeing. What do you have, Brock?
Just change of, is it Airbnb? What would make it go up?
What would make that go
Yeah,
up?
the rates are going up, right?
No, I mean.
You got those sporadic $4,000 months, here and there, so I don't know if there's,
Yeah, what that could be attributed to, I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Quarterly reporting.
Quarterly reporting.
Some new every other month, and it's really sporadic. If you look at the past, most of it was more even, but every once in a while we'll have a year that's really sporadic.
Yeah.
I'm going to attribute the past 2 months being ahead to my tourism efforts. Want to let that reflect?
they're both really strong. Southern Hotel's been open now, and it hasn't been open for the last 3 years, so that's been open for, I don't know, since last March or April when the eclipse was. So they're generating a little extra revenue for the city that they hadn't done in the last 2 or 3 years before that, so.
Yeah, and it's strange because I know January and February were down because we had, so much snow and rough weather.
Yeah, so maybe March might not look so good.
Yeah, right. We'll have to see on that. But we are, doing well, up another $4,000. So our coffers continue to fill. So we will, I'm sure, attend to that. And I don't know, I don't think do we have to make a motion to accept the financial?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Yeah, I'll second.
Motion to approve and seconded. All in favor of approving the financial report as submitted?
Aye.
Aye.
Any dissenting? Motion carries. Time for any public comments. If you have a comment, please come to the podium and
Good evening. I'm Jeff Giuliano. I'm Executive Director of French Colonial America. And talking about January and February, historically, they always have been slow. It's great what constitutes good weather in January and February, or bad, it's going to be slow. Consequently, that's a reason why I wanted to get up and to thank the downtown folks who put together the chocolate walk in February. I would have made this comment in February, but since there wasn't a meeting, but really appreciate the effort that the people put into that. Yeah, we've been involved with it, participated for a few years now, but this year, we had Linden open as the Living History House. So besides giving out chocolate, we were doing educational activities there for the public for free. And we had 231 folks go through, even though it wasn't the best day weather-wise, if you will recall. But still, they'd done a good job advertising it, getting people excited about it. And the really wonderful thing was that that 231, couple hundred were there because of Chocolate Walk, but they still came in and took part in the educational programming, enjoyed it, and spent time. And actually, they didn't just run in, grab their chocolate thing, and run out again. So it was great. They were delightful people to have. A lot of them there were some St. Louis folks, there were people from Perryville and people from the Illinois side of the river, there were people from Farmington. It wasn't just local folks, although there were local folks coming in, but great situation to be in, really helped us for February. And again, wanted to convey thanks to the people who were involved and made it work, and the support that you all show to them in those kinds of operations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Hi, I'm Chris Alexander from Music Art Love. I was actually wanting to hear what the meeting was going to be more about to reference. I know with our new marketing strategy, and I just wanted to say my 2 cents before we get too far with the marketing program, that I hope that we get to focus on not just like the history and the water park and all that we have here, but also the entertainment side of everything, the things to do. We have at least 7 music venues here in town, which is a lot for our little town. We have so many interesting like weekly and monthly events, and I hope that that's the first thing that I do when I look for a place to go stay. What do they have to offer? Like a weekly or the time that I'm there, not just like the big festivals. And I just hope that we can kind of work on that to get a different demographic coming in as well. All ages, not just the history buffs or the people that are going hiking. That's just my 2 cents, and I hope that if that's a way to kind of gear the new marketing plan as well to include all that, because we have so many cool shops and the people are very interesting whenever they come in. People starting to buy, as you probably know, Joe. Like they come into our shops and they just want to know, what's it like to live here? And they just think it's such a unique, like we're saying, it's something special here. And I think that's part of it. And I don't know, I just wanted to say that before we get too far into the marketing plan, if we can make sure that we have those things listed of all the unique things we have. And thank you for putting that on the Visit St. John, like some of the events that are happening. So because I have my Airbnb people, what's going on? And I don't know really where to find the one-stop place to say where to go to look what's happening in every
Especially for
location.
weekly stuff, like we're saying.
Right, exactly. So,
There's places to go find the events and the festivals and that kind of stuff, but when it comes to just like things we do on a weekly basis that are cool and fun, there isn't really a lot around that, right?
Well, we do. On every week we post on Mondays on Visit St. John on Instagram. We post everything that's happening in the week with a list of.
okay.
So,
That's good to know.
Yeah, we should-
Because I know I went to the Facebook page and under events, it doesn't have anything, but under posts there are, but not under events. So I don't know if there's a way like on the
Yeah,
Facebook
I know
thing.
we've said that I'm a strong believer, that about Facebook. You should use
Sure.
Facebook more.
No, I know, but we have to get one thing kind
Right.
of like
Yeah.
good and stationary, because otherwise, I don't know, we're only so many people,
Right.
Another well,
Yeah,
2 people.
Instagram, it's really, it's like a little toggle thing. It'll automatically go straight to your Facebook.
But what's unfortunate about it is it goes to our Visit St. Gen page is run by the St. Genevieve. So it posts on St. Genevieve and doesn't cross over to Visit St. Gen. And their Facebook, the interface between Instagram and Facebook is all more complicated.
Yeah.
And
It's the wrong page, basically.
yeah, right, because the Visit St. Gen is a page while the St. Genevieve Facebook is like, like a person that has all the kind of same, yeah, it's an account. That's right. So, yeah, so that's,
Through this week, literally exactly what you just described.
yeah, it's extremely frustrating because, you know what I mean? We love, what we love about the Instagram page, you can post all the beautiful images that we have of St. John, and it's more interactive in that way, but then crossing it over to Facebook is not. So I'll just have to get somebody that can post just directly to that Visit St. John.
But
So where would be the best place, like if somebody's asking?
It's directly on our
The Instagram?
Yeah, even if the words can be posted on Facebook and then
Yeah.
for pictures, go see Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, we could even just post like a header, but just 2 separate posts have to be made. And I guess that's not that big of a deal, but as far as, working someone 12 hours a week and they're getting the photos and posting multiple times and reposting things, we'll work it in, but I'm just saying it's a little bit more complicated.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, than it seems, so.
But a good spot, I mean, back to what you're asking about, which is totally valid, is like the weekly stuff. I mean, there's probably, I guarantee there's weekly stuff we don't even know about right now. I mean, I didn't know about, well, that's monthly, I guess, but trivia.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about that. And so I guess, and I'm probably not going and searching in the right spots too, but.
Well, yeah, and there's so much stuff to do. I mean, you've got the Dewdrop Inn and Cozy that do their own things, the wineries that do their own things, it's a lot to capture.
Yeah, it is.
And we do it on our Instagram, but yeah, crossing it over to Facebook is going to be key here, so I'll work on that. So thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Would you pull that in?
Visit Widget will pull that in.
As long as it's been posted on Facebook or some other.
Exactly. Once we have the new website launched, it's going to have a Visit Widget. Well, it's not even with Visit Widget. It's a different plugin, but it basically draws all of the events from websites instead of me having to go in and manually put in every event that's happening every week, which is unrealistic. This will actually pull things in, and I'll get to kind of edit, like, is this really an event that, and it'll even pull in stuff I've seen, even looking at the beta website that we're looking at, it pulls stuff in from Fort de Chart, which I think is very good for people who want to use the ferry, which, the ferry being in trouble, that's a great thing to kind of like pull that in, especially if there's no work or money that we're having to spend on that, but besides just the main plugin. So that should be helpful, but as far, again, there might be some limitations there in that they're also kind of looking for things that aren't like on a weekly basis event-wise. They're kind of looking for the bigger events. And it kind of makes it more manageable as well because, there are so many events. We are such an event-heavy area. So anyways, we'll see how that plays out. I'm going to need a little bit more time to kind of see that played out. And to see how to fix that, but I appreciate all the input.
Any other public comment? Okay, on to old business. We have listed several past events and I'll start with maybe Mardi Gras in May. Input on that. Why don't we talk about that last time?
Yeah, have we had board meetings since then?
No, we haven't, and we even haven't had a board meeting since the chocolate walk or anything like that, or,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Even the King's Ball, I don't think we really.
Did it snow or something?
We talked about it at downtown St. John, that's probably what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But at other meetings.
Yeah, I thought the Mardi Gras Main was quite successful. I think last year, that's one of the first events that I've seen, 2 years worth at this point. And I thought the first year was more locals, and then this year was more people from outside of town, which is interesting. I think it was about and then they kind of widened the area a little bit. So Was it as dense as it was last year? No, but I think overall there was just as many people, but this was more people from, St. Louis and Farmington and Cape Girardeau and things like that. And then less of the locals came, but they might have also been sitting in their side-by-sides, instead of on the street, because we had that nice side-by-side parade, which I thought was really nice. It was just very low-key little celebration. Everybody was out on the streets. Weather was perfect. So that was great as well, but, yeah, just good.
Until we got stopped.
I still think that was cool.
I was being in
Well,
it.
because it sat there and like otherwise it would have just been a short little
Yeah, that's true.
nothing. You know what I mean? So the car sat there and everybody.
I was in the last side by side, so
I
for
could
me,
see.
it was kind of like,
Yeah,
you know,
I can understand that. Yeah, just huff and exhaust. But,
and we didn't know we were stopping either. That part.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah, for sure. I think yeah.
But we
better
ended up going all
organization.
around town. We went around the whole. I mean,
That's what you're saying.
like up and down every street in town, and it was cool. There were people sitting inside their houses and stuff. So I think if we do that every year, where we just drive literally the whole town. I mean, we went to Rhodes. I mean, we went all the way around Lynn and all those streets back there.
Cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting perspective of that because I saw it from the ground, but you were in the
Yeah.
parade, so that was fun for everybody around.
Yeah, it was good. But it did give an opportunity for them to come talk to people too. So we were kind of talking to people on the street and stuff. So
Foundation House Tour was also kind of a success. One of the cool things that we've been able to compound right now is we had the rebrand of St. Jim. Because we used a St. Louis company, I was able to get St. Louis Magazine to pick up that story. And when they picked up that story, they also talked about the house tour. And so right before the house tour, this article launched and they got, I think, an extra 40 or so people reserve tickets on that in just a couple of days. And that's always just a wonderful event. There was a lot of great houses that weren't on it last year. And myself, I love going into these old houses and just seeing how people would refurbish them, redecorate it or something like that. So it was a good event. We've got the St. John Gravel Classic coming up. I know that TrailNet has been in contact with a lot of the merchants and the sort of historic organizations about, engaging their riders a little bit more. So I think there's some good efforts going on there. Fourth Friday Art Walk will be opening up at the end of the month. And then we have the Melise encampment also April 12th. That is where the St. Genevieve Melise normally take over the Bull Duke Yard. Is that where they'll be?
The yard right next to AT&T.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So the yard behind the Lamel Euro house right next to AT&T building, and they set up camp there.
Where's the AT&T building?
It's right next to French Colonial America.
The old Southwestern Mills.
Okay.
I like to use the Bull Duke yard because that's kind of where it is, but it's the house next to the Bull Duke and behind that. So that's what it'll be. And then, of course, we have Build a Bouquet coming up. That's in May.
May 3rd.
Would you like to say anything about that, Dina or Amanda? That's not okay.
Tickets are on sale.
Yeah,
The tickets are on sale. There we go. That's the plug I wanted them to do.
what is that?
And we are taking volunteers if anybody wants to
May
volunteer.
3rd, right?
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
It's mainly for mothers, daughters, and nieces. Kind of like a Mother's Day thing. And we just encourage them to come downtown to shop, and then they'll get like a little passport or a little ticket thing, and they'll stamp every business that they go to. And then they bring that back to us at the St. Jim Bouquet, and then we build them a bouquet. So if they go to 20 different places, they get 20 stems. And then that's their bouquet, and then there's like a photo op, and they do.
Cool.
It was really, last year was our first year doing it, and it was very popular.
We have people that have come in and they're looking forward to it again. They went to the first one and they go, oh, that's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. We had a lot of out-of-towners that came to that event.
Yeah.
So. And demonstrations at your place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's music, they're having music
Yeah.
that day. I'm not sure
Cool.
what there's that plan, but anyways.
And we have the quartet coming, right?
And the quartet, yeah, the Rivertown Quartet will be around town doing their music like they usually do. They're a lot of fun too. So make their,
All right. A little update on the Missouri Main Street Connection. They will be out here April 18th, I do believe is the date. And if it is not, I will definitely send you guys an email and let you know that that is.
Do you need anything for that? And that's just gonna be,
We're gonna meet probably here in the boardroom with a number of people. I'll send out an invitation. And it's not so much a community outreach, but they do want to know like what they can, it's not their town hall once we get the actual grant, but it will be a good community outreach so they can kind of probe what we think we need, you know what I mean? And then they'll come and kind of, once we get that, come and tell us exactly what we need.
Aaron, are you handpicking those people that were going to be invited to that?
I was just gonna try to kind of blanket.
Did you send an email out about that, or was my?
I sent it to you, to the board, right. So yeah, that should be in there.
Okay.
And that was many
It's all-
emails
I'm
ago.
pretty sure I remember something about that date.
Right. So, we could also keep it to where, I don't know how we'd want to do that, because again, you don't want too many.
You don't want
cooks in
50
the
people
kitchen.
walking around town talking.
Right. And I think maybe we could keep that to just the TTC board, the walk around, but maybe.
How many of them are coming?
Two.
Two.
There's Ben, forget his last name, and then Julie Turnseed, that last name. She'll be here as well, and so they'll kind of walk around and we can kind of show them what the town looks like.
Are we working the Gravel Classic?
We are working on
Okay,
it.
good.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be handing out some stickers and whatnot. Get on that. So
That's April 18th is a Friday.
is that a Friday? Okay.
So, because, yeah.
Either that, I'm looking at the email from them, that they said they had 18th or the 21st, but I always choose the earlier date, so I'm pretty positive. But like I said, if it's not the 18th, I will.
It's Good Friday.
It's Good
It's
Friday.
Good Friday.
Yeah, we might want
It's
to.
not a bad Friday.
Okay, that's what I like to hear.
As long as they're.
It's the best Friday, really.
Still open to that.
Yeah, no, I think that's what they had sent us is what they had open. So yeah, if that works for everybody, and again, I'll open this email chain once get back into the office tomorrow. But good news, downtown St. John and the Chamber of Commerce just today authorized each $1,000. So with our $6,000 pledge, we get up to 8,000 right there. So now it's time to hit the streets and ask some other individuals.
Can I clarify? It's the Chamber Foundation.
Sorry, excuse me.
Chamber Board,
Yeah. Okay.
Just to clarify, because it is two separate entities. I don't want people to think that we're taking general revenue funds.
Gotcha. No,
So it's from the foundation, yes.
no problem. Yeah. I'm not privy to those mechanisms, but thank you. Card kiosk. Taking a big circuitous route to get there. Like I said, we do have a grant from the state to work these out. I just went and bought some material and I was working on it before we got here, but I want to get just kind of an idea. I think I was talking with Brock. I feel like we can kind of, I love the thought of St. John being something more handmade, the sort of things we put together, but then maybe using and thinking about how the kiosk and the rack cards will have to be, it's going to be pretty labor intensive to keep those stocked. And also, what happens in those, maybe not so much labor intensive and not that like we wouldn't want to hire someone, but keeping however many we put out there, keeping an eye on them is really the hard part, because we go put them in, certain parts where it takes 30 minutes to get out to them. It's just hard to keep an eye on that sort of stuff. And so my thought was maybe getting some iPads that we could mount that have the Visit St. John app on it. And then it becomes easier for people to kind of sit there and scroll through everything we have. So that's just maybe a pivot that I was thinking, but I want to get a prototype kind of together before.
So we're scratching brochures in the kiosk.
Not yet.
Not yet, it's just an idea. Yeah, just kind of want to, and I want to bring a different option.
And we did talk about those boards, you know, the digital boards. It's a little different, they're smaller footprint, and it's probably cheaper.
I think so. I mean, what we were looking at with those rack card things, you know, kind of the ones we would be eyeballing, they're pretty expensive. You know, it's like 3,500 for,
But there is something about being able to take it with you.
but then we've got so much stuff though, you know what I mean? It's like at some point, things kind of get,
We would have, I mean, I almost feel like it would have to have some sort of a way that they can scan it and get the exact same thing on their phone. Like they could just scan that and then have it, and then they can use the map and whatever, something like that.
I mean, that's, you know, we basically do have an app so we could put a QR code
Yeah.
and they can scroll through and they go, hey, I want that app.
It says take me with you or something, and they can scan it.
Group of pictures that have the QR code is appropriately put.
Yeah,
So it's
right.
just more of a poster.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, you could do that.
Some nice
It's just a
nice images and then QR codes.
I will admit, it took me a long time to jump on the QR code train because I did not like the idea of it. I was kind of something I always fought, and probably the last few months I've been using it a little more, and it's not too bad. I kind of like the idea.
You're not telling it to get off your lawn.
Yeah,
right
I'm not
now.
telling it. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's, I wonder, well, when did we talk about that? Did we talk about that here?
We can, I mean, I think I can come up with I'd like to come up with a prototype of my idea, and if somebody has like other businesses or or if we want to get a committee together, maybe, I think more than just me and Amanda.
Just comparative cost analysis on.
Yeah,
on
right.
the methods and.
Right, and I
Even
think,
the service of it, you know, the labor cost of that, you know.
right, for sure.
Because this wouldn't be simply.
And if I'm thinking wrong about the fact of like putting, you know, like what are the problems that I'm not thinking about with having an iPad out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's-
Having water.
Well,
Yeah, sure.
the public will steal anything that's worth more than 50 cents.
Sure, and
I
like,
think we're safe here for the most part, but as far as like it being waterproof and just stable and, you know, there's a lot to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to like walking up to something in a museum or something like that and you go to touch it and nothing happens,
right, yeah.
you know?
It's-
Yeah, there would be IT, so there would be definitely an IT aspect to that.
Yeah,
So there's
absolutely.
Yeah, but having a bigger poster, a TV screen size like that. That's facts, pictures, nice big print, couple QR codes.
So we're thinking about 3 different options then, maybe an iPad, a TV screen, or the old school kind of rack display.
Yeah.
Is that kind of,
Sounds about right, if that's, and like, I'd have to see what you were talking about, Tom, if you have any like,
Dig into my archive, see if I have any pictures.
I mean,
They do it at Williamsburg. It's a welcome thing, and it's a map, has 2 or 3 QR codes on it.
okay, interesting.
like maybe one that says history, one that says restaurants, one that says. something.
Yeah, you can.
One
kinda-
that says
kinda
entertainment.
just
Entertainment, yeah.
Group of pictures with the QR code, group of pictures, QR code.
Well, and then, you
All of
know,
them feeding into one place, basically.
yeah, and then, you know, also, there's kind of the thing about, you know, what is this app gonna look like too when it launches? You know, I'm looking at the beta version of this app, there's some things we have to fix, but then how do we, if we go with just a pure rack card version or something like that, that doesn't, you know, what's the point of getting this app? And so, you know, again, it sucks to not hit the ground running, but it also is like one of those things like, I'd like to see that kind of,
I think you could just put a QR code there and just say, scan me for information about where you're at. And it just pulls right up on a map and a page that you can do anything with it at that point. I mean, and the cost is 0. You just have to have the QR code printed, you know, in vinyl and something that
well, that's kind of a 4th thing. You were talking about having a poster up there.
Yeah, a larger poster that's got several pictures and it says signing in St. Genevieve QR code, bed and breakfast available, a couple of lists of them, a few pictures, shops, picture of the street scene.
Yeah.
Several QR codes depending on what their interest is. But then a general QR code that goes to the Visit St. John website. And that's fixed, static, and those things weather about once a year. We do a budget to replace it
So
and with
I like the
updates.
idea better than an iPad. iPads are really stupid to work with.
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, I do daily, and they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I got
Because you
you.
gotta update them every like 10 days. They're not
take
fun.
that and run with it.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, cool. Yeah, we will work on that.
I mean, you got a bunch of ideas that you can come up
Remind me again, locations where we're thinking about putting some or all of these items.
Right. I mean, I think that's still
Probably the
kind of,
originals too. I mean, still at the rest area. Where else? Loves, where, I
Lowe's,
forgot what we even
the
mentioned.
Phillips
It wouldn't,
66.
it wouldn't take us 15 minutes to sit here and write down
Yeah,
a list if we wanted to.
Yeah.
We know it really already in our heads, we just haven't written it down yet.
Really about 8 to 10 out of town, anything else in town where it's pertinent.
yeah, sounds good. It'd be nice to replace that one in the courthouse lawn. That's just
yeah.
melting. I've never seen
It's
wood
gone.
melt. But
It's gone, it's down.
Right.
It's down, they did?
Melted that bad.
Okay, phew.
No, they're replacing it, right, Corey? Are they doing that?
Excuse me?
The sign at the
The
entrance?
kiosk or the.
Today, yes.
Yeah, they're putting, and
Oh.
it went up.
They're replacing it? Okay.
Yeah. Main Street signs was there
Yeah,
today.
they-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
so,
They were, huh? They were supposed to be.
are you talking about the cities or the county?
County.
County,
Yeah.
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 But both of them are getting replaced, but the
Right.
counties were replaced today.
All right. And then moving to the bandwagon, I'll just be brief on that. There's been no movement as of recent. Again, a lot of circus routes to end back at that. So we'll revisit that next meeting.
But you do have your first potential user of it though,
We're
in
at
September, right?
pecan
Yeah.
pulleys. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's November. November, I'm sorry.
Okay, good. That's a little farther
Wrong
out.
month. Wrong month.
September. Oktoberfest? Could do that too. Okay.
We'll get on.
Tourism director report.
Right, okay, well, here's another long-winded thing. Yeah, so we did it's been a while, we did the brand reveal at the Oris Theater. I thought, thank you so much to Dr. Hoffman who helped book that and then helped feed everybody there. I thought it went really well. Blacktop Sailor came out and we got to see a look at the new brand. Now that is going back into the workshop. We got some comments on a few things, so we are finalizing that. We'll have a full PDF of the brand standards, how we should use certain things, some ideas of how to use that in social media post if we want to do a billboard, how that should look. So they really run the full gamut of how this should be used, and that's gonna be excellent. If something happens to me and there's a new tourism director that has to step in, they have something that will keep a lot of consistency. So we have done a really great job, I think, over the past year of mechanizing certain things and getting to a standard in how we post online. Now this brand standard, what that is going to be doing, what it's being used for, and I think what we chose with There's Something Special Here is really it works in two different dimensions that I'm really excited about. One is for the business owners that are here that, you have, a business and, you're like, wow, why did I start a business here? You can always, revert back to, there's something special here. That's right. It galvanizes the people who, have decided to put roots here. And then from a viewer perspective, it begs people to look a little deeper, right? So they get here and, of course, some of the shops are closed. It's a Wednesday. Not much is going on. Look a little bit deeper, dig a little bit deeper, and you'll find that there's something special. Talk to somebody on the street, and you'll find that there is something special here. So I think it works on a couple of different levels, and we're very excited about that. We hired an influencer. In fact, we've been doing a couple of little micro influencers, hiring people to,
I
oh,
do
sorry.
have something. Your influencers, can you like email us like a list of their, who they are, like where they post, stuff like that, or, you know, their handle or whatever?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm just
Like a trucker
interested.
handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hashtag.
Yeah, so it hasn't,
I'm just interested to see,
yeah, absolutely. And
like I'll follow them.
yeah,
I'll
sounds
see what
good.
content's out there.
Sure.
That's all, sorry to.
Oh, no problem. So,
You have checked them, right? They're not like.
oh, of course, yeah, yeah. No. Well, I'm just saying, you know, we basically, we had a Southern Illinois social come and do a couple of things. That was actually not one we paid for. They just did that. And then there was a young woman with like 5,000 followers that we just paid $150 to come and do a post. And then boom, you know, a big influencer from St. Louis just reached out to us and said, hey, do you guys want to collaborate on something? We were able to negotiate a really good price for that. We put, well, she kind of put together an itinerary and we kind of helped, you know, add some special things to it. So she stayed at Crown Ridge Tiger Sanctuary, went around to, you know, I got her in touch with Kara Nagger. She sent them to Charlottesville and Beige Farms. She ate at the Audubons because we got her in touch with you. So we really rolled out the red carpet, and yeah, she wrote a blog post that just launched this morning, and she did a reel for our Instagram and has been doing stories. We're up like 80 followers from that, and she launched this reel this morning. I'm looking through. She basically, if you reply trip in her comment section, she sends you an itinerary of what to do. And there's like 200 comments that are saying that.
Oh,
right?
really?
200, yeah. So, yeah, so she put together a really nice.
What's her name?
Her name is, her handle is Explore STL Parks. And if you go to explorestlparks.com.
I followed her before she came down here, and she does good stuff.
Yeah,
Is it like this?
Yeah.
EX or?
EX, yeah. And, yeah, she wrote a blog post, like I was saying, on her
Is this Instagram?
website. That's Instagram, yeah. But I think she's got Facebook. Her Facebook at Explore STL Parks is she has 5,000 members. They're all moms that want to take their kids on hikes. So she has a big hiking group. So, you know, she wanted to do Hawn State Park and Pickle Springs and things like that. But, you know, we kind of centered it on like, you know, coming to downtown St. John as well. And she really put together just a beautiful reel that kind of shows the full gamut of what you can do here. So that was very exciting. And then also today we recorded the podcast for the Missouri Humanities Small Town Showcase. I got Bill Nagger as one of the, you know, wanted to get somebody who was like a local, longtime local. He's raised 6 kids here. You know, he's was one of the founders of the French Heritage Festival. You know, he just wrote the seminal book on St. Genevieve, or at least, you know, all the locals are like, have you read this book? Have you read this book? They're super proud of it. And then Laura Jablonski, who was the Queen of St. Genevieve this year, who's from Kirkwood and is very excited about being a representative of our town as an outsider. So we put them in the same room with a moderator from Missouri Humanities, and it almost brought tears to my eyes. There was just a lot of great back and forth. Yeah, oh yeah, no, I was super proud. I think everybody.
What's the name of the podcast?
The Missouri Humanities Small Town Showcase. If you search Small Town Showcase on Spotify, you'll find it, and that might even launch by this weekend.
Hey, I got a real quick question. Who did that commercial?
It was I wrote the kind of treatment for it, gave it to Don Pritchard, who did the
It
recording for
actually
it.
was really good. I really liked it.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, and then I got my videographer from St. Louis who did the French Heritage Festival video to do that.
It
Really
turned out good.
inexpensive, and yeah, we'll keep working with him and do some more fun stuff towards the end of the year once we kind of see how the budget's shaping up. So that is my tourism director report.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Any new business? Any other business?
Anything that we had talked about, or that you wanted to talk about for the director report? Like anything like you need to follow up on? Like with humanities or anything like that?
No, they will be sending somebody out. We don't have a date yet, but they are sending a woman who is in charge of it. Her name's Caitlin Yeager. She was the one who was the moderator for the podcast, and she's the one who speaks on the podcast. She and another person are going to come out for like a scouting trip to see what they want to film, and they'll film a little bit while they're here. And then, yeah, like I said, at the end of that, we get, you know, a 10-minute video that we can use to replace the video in the welcome center. And yeah, it's like a $50,000 value, you know, that we're getting for free. And
For that opening?
yeah,
No kidding?
yeah, that was what was at stake. Yeah, absolutely.
Holy cow.
I know, we're getting some really incredible things out of that.
So what about takeaways from the, what was the other conversation we just had in your report?
Well, you know, one thing yeah, go ahead. I was talking to the chamber board, and I would love to, you know, kind of keep that momentum, because the influencers are really great at getting people to engage. You know what I mean? And so not only do you have a lot of new follows, but you know, she's actually sending people itineraries that they can use.
That's cool.
And you have to be actually interested in something you've seen to do that, because I've done that before, where you comment blah 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 to get a recipe.
Yeah, you have,
Like you have to at
It has
least
to be
be
serious.
interested in it.
Right,
So there's
no.
at least 200 people interested.
Exactly. So if we convert 10% of that or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, we're still bringing people to
Turn
town.
off the bed nights and
Absolutely. And you know, who knows where that leads, but I would love to do more. I was just contacted by a couple out of Houston that want to come and do the same thing, but more like a, you know, outdoor activity. So the biking and hiking downtown, and yeah, I'm gonna talk to them tomorrow actually. So, but anybody who wants to, you know, of course, I'm trying to be egalitarian about the push for that, but anybody, Brad Arnold shared a little bit of the cost of this past one. So she went to Braden and Friends Park and spent a little bit of the evening there and doing a little bit of the video there, and you know, talked about the water park, even though it's not open. And then Brad's given her some free tickets so she can make it back for the water park, and then maybe we kind of pair with her again to do something else. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, any suggestions on that, or anything you want, any bugs you want to put in my ear on that, please do.
Yeah, you just had an article written about doing this.
Yeah, you and Emily did. So.
Yeah, no, and sometime we got to get them to come to a water park, drink, eat some ludas.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. You guys did a good job.
any other business? We're going to move on to looking at the grant applications.
They will.
So there's no takeaways, like as far as to-dos for the kiosk stuff? That's all you.
I'll work on that. Yeah. I'll bring you some prototypes, hopefully by next meeting, but seeing how things get kind of like rerouted and things keep popping up. I definitely, and again, you know, there's certain things that I'm waiting to kind of fall into place. Like again, this app, I'd love to see like how usable is this? Is there a way, you know, again, if we're going to do posters, how are we going to integrate the app into it? That sort of thing. So, so give me just a little, breath on that one so I can figure out the best way to utilize that.
Okay.
Might be some actionable items on Bandwagon. If anybody wants to help me design that one, that would be,
On like, what do you need?
I don't know, just,
Like the front skirting or something?
I would love to do something that was,
How about we get our brand guide back and then we'll tackle that?
there you go. That's a
I'll
great
help you with
idea. Thank you.
What that?
Our
The brand.
brand standards.
Oh, okay.
Okay, moving on to grant applications. We'll start with the first one with the grant application by Day of Celebration Short of Pet. We have a representative here for them.
Yep, the other one's, here's the person. Oh, I don't think.
We've got Carrie Knoll here as a contact.
Why did they want, no, for free of charge?
For vendors and stuff like that. I assume, right?
I don't know, because that's
it
what,
says in the back. Food fee will collect from vendors, what it says.
oh, wow.
Well, I guess it's food too.
Yeah, it's,
But the event itself is
Day,
Yeah,
free.
oh,
the
the
event's
day, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the event is free. The booths pay a fee to be there.
yeah.
So it would qualify on the face of it.
And it's, you know,
Yeah.
throughout the streets and then down in the park.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Any discussion?
I would just like to, I wish they were here because I'd like to ask them what additional advertising they would be doing with that money. Because they currently, it's a longstanding event. And they already have a lot of established advertising. I think it would be an opportunity for them to do some new and different advertising with a grant. But without someone here as a representative to discuss that, I think it's hard to move forward. Maybe we want to table it and invite them to come to our next meeting.
I think the Channel 5 and Channel 12 commercial is new. I don't think that's something they've ever done in the past.
I've seen Jordan Fed on commercials before.
Yeah, I think.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
I don't get Channel 12. so-
I think they run the same commercial for
Well,
several
if you have
years.
smart TV, it comes up on all commercials, like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and it's the same commercial that they paid for several years. You know, they
Yeah.
run it, just change the
Well,
dates on
good
the
for them. I
narration.
didn't know they did that. That's awesome.
But we still have some time before the 30 days before the event, so I think you may want to contact them and,
I mean, you're talking about an event that's been in our community.
oh, yeah.
for 50-something years.
I understand that. And I also want to promote newer events that haven't had the benefit of getting some of these funds too. So I don't know how you balance it, you know?
I know, and I just wish that we had somebody here from them but I think that they should try to do something new and something
Yeah, I'm
different.
not opposed to giving them
I,
money for advertising.
but
You know, as long as they're under the understanding that they have to come back and show what they've done with their advertising
Right.
money, I don't see how.
well,
we
and
can really
also
tell them
maybe an increase in the $1,000 from last year's advertising budget.
that. Yeah,
And so that's what I would like to, maybe ask them some questions about that, so we know that our money's being well spent. It's a wonderful event, and people have a great time here. We just need to cross our i's and dot our t's.
yeah.
I bet the commercials cost more than $1,000.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, easily.
So,
But we don't give
so
them.
if anyone would like to entertain a motion for
I mean,
anything you would like to do.
I mean, I'll make a motion to approve it. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. And is that as written, applied for?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it would be nice if they would come in and let us just.
But
ask
I mean, they're gonna
questions about
have to, they're gonna have to anyway, once they spend $1,000, they have to give a report back, so. I mean, yeah, it would
Yeah.
be nice for her to be here, but.
Why don't you just call it? One of them, right?
it. Right now?
Carrie?
Gary, is that you? I don't have to interrupt or anything.
I mean, I just say rather than beating around the bush, I don't, this one to me is
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer.
so I don't think she's gonna say anything that's gonna probably change.
No,
Yeah.
no, nothing's gonna change on it. So yeah, I'm making a motion to approve, you seconded.
Yeah, I don't have a problem spending the money. I just want to make sure that they know
Yeah.
why and how.
Well, don't they get the criteria
Yeah.
when they apply? I mean, they know that they have to come back and give this report, correct?
Well, I mean, I assume, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Don't they just fill out paperwork?
When they get the application, is there any other documentation that says what they have to come back? Like they have to give a report and they have to show
There'll be an agreement that states that.
with the agreement?
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
This
Any further discussion?
is a money one, so I don't think we're allowed to vote.
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Where's your-
Yeah, I didn't.
well, you gotta,
You have to vote for it.
Oh, aye.
David, at the next, can you add in the full application for the marketing grant? In the packet, can you add in the full marketing grant packet, please?
Yeah, because we never really see what
what they're getting.
they see, right?
Yeah.
Someone's
Well,
saying they have
and
to bring something back. I have no idea because.
we don't see what they're turning in after the fact, like, we don't see, like, I'm trying to think of one that
We fine tuned it a lot and it might
But
still need.
they're supposed to come back and give a report though.
Yeah.
And I have never heard one.
Well,
Yeah, Tim did.
Tim Ballard came.
Well,
in
and then last Kathy did
Yes,
with
Kathy Crackler
the
came back.
rally.
We're missing.
No, but they
Sam
came back and
Conley.
reported, but aren't they supposed to give like a
We don't
list
see
of,
the funds. We
they're
don't see
supposed
where
to
the
give a
funds are.
list of where they spent their money. We never seen it. I've never
Yeah,
seen
no
anything.
itemization has been sent on any list that I.
Well, I think they verbally gave it in the report and then it's supposed to be on here where they plan on spending it too, so.
I understand that, but I feel like if we're giving money out, like, kind of like how the Chamber Foundation we gave the money to the 4-H, they have to come back and give us a full list of everything. I mean, it should be no different.
Right, I know, we should see that.
When we did Pecanapalooza last year, Amanda Hutchings gave a report, but I don't know who she gave that to. But I've seen what do you know where that went, Happy?
So, and Kathy Crackler had also given us a list of what she's up to now. It's pretty detailed, list. We included that back.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying it's nothing we see and we vote on it.
Right.
No,
We did.
because that's actually fact.
It was in her pack. She had a full packet last time.
Of where she spent money. Okay, sorry, my bad. I've seen one.
I don't remember it either, so I'm
Yeah, it was a couple pages. I remember when she gave her report, but it was also in her packet of stuff.
Yeah.
Including her thank you letter, I believe. Y'all need to read your stuff more often.
Right.
Okay. So we still have a motion,
I'm sorry, Tommy.
Two guys.
so
Oh, we don't have that. We voted, we got
Let's-
3 A's.
we,
And then how do you vote?
4.
Okay.
Any negative? Okay. So, but I still would like to make sure that we, maybe in the future, that the grants, proposals come to us, come with a budget, so that we know that, they have things, but what is their old budget, what is the new money gonna be spent for ongoing events?
That's fine. You all need to let me know what I have to tell them,
Okay.
because we have not done that. So
Okay,
if you want that to start, then we'll start asking for that information up front.
yeah,
Does that have to be a motion or something that the board decides like in a vote? Or-
Well, I mean, unless we want to go through the application again and decide what else needs to be included.
Well-
But do we really need to know what their budget is for advertising? I don't see
I
that.
think it was kind of a budget of how they're going to
the
spend.
budget for the money that we're giving them.
Yes, that's all I
See
want to
that.
know. I don't want to know what they spent
Right.
last year. I don't really care.
Right.
But if we're giving them money, we should know what they're spending their money on.
And that should, and a proposed budget versus how the money's spent, there's some variation. We all know that we're in business. We know how the funds change. And printing costs go up and down. But I would,
Well, also, if they ask for $500 and they have a list of everything they spent money on, well, they spent $250 on flyers, $750 on something else, they can be like, they can show that the next year and say, I didn't ask for enough and here's why. There's backing to it, instead of just increasingly asking for more money for whatever
correct.
reason.
Right.
The Sure Fed did not apply last year. So we have no.
Correct.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm just saying it's just ammunition for them to ask for more money if they need it next year.
But in general, I believe we should ask Happy to include with the grant application, a budget for those additional funds and how they plan on spending them.
Maybe we can do a budget and then a final
And then,
cost,
a report.
final cost.
An actual cost.
But I think we should have a budget. We can't vote on it after the fact, but before we vote on it, I think we should have a budget.
And then also, that would be also proof of, say, the following year, okay, they asked for $500, they only spent $300.
Right.
Do you really need $500?
Right, so
Just some situations. So do we need a motion for that?
we do need a motion. I can, as chair, cannot do a motion.
So the motion is to add the request for the budget.
Versus actual.
Planned advertising budget versus actual spent advertising money,
Post-event.
yes.
And is that,
Turned in with whatever they turned in.
do they come here and present that? Or do they just have to turn it in?
They just have.
Well, they have to, do they have to come back at regardless and report?
I just have to hand in what they did.
So maybe,
Yeah, we didn't come back for pump.
so they just have to turn it, so they just have to turn it into Happy, and then
Right.
maybe we could just have it.
I think we should have a budget rather than just a blank list like this of the places they're gonna spend the money. And along with
So if
that.
they turn it into Happy, then maybe he can put it in our next.
Right, the packet, it comes with
That's
that.
what I was-
Yeah.
That's what I was-
Yeah, that would be good. Once they turn it in, if we could just see
See
it.
it.
That way we know for the next year when it comes up.
Okay, so what's the motion? I make a motion to
Amend the application.
amend the application to include proposed advertising budget versus actual spent advertising.
Two different things.
And
The proposed budget is for the grant application. A report at the end needs to include how the money was spent. Two different things.
we already have that though, correct?
And that's already,
So-
that second
so
one
then-
is there. We just don't have it in the
Okay.
application they
So-
turn
We
in.
maybe need to wait until next time when David, so we have that original one in front of us and can look at it. Because didn't you, Joe, didn't you ask David to?
I did.
Yeah, so next month, let's have it in front of us, looking at it, and then we can
Let's see if we can change anything next.
So let's make the
Yeah.
changes and then approve
It's
it.
hard to change something that we
Sounds good.
aren't
I've
looking
never
at.
seen,
Yeah.
Aren't we looking at it?
look at,
I
is
thought-
this all it is?
No,
This
there's a little description that goes with it, right? What
Okay.
they have to report back on.
Again, there's an agreement and then there's
Agreement.
the application. So
Right, an agreement.
You don't see the agreement.
So then the two things that we're asking for right now is a change in the packet that's put into the board packet.
This.
The
board-
agreement.
Yeah, the original agreement and the follow-up budget, actual budget details.
Well, we get the actual budget details. Why don't we get those in the packet, when they come in or something like
So
that?
they don't give us anything. They write in what they're applying for and how they're going to spend. That's how it was instructed by the people.
But there is no cost. There's just a random list of things that they're,
That's what the board asked for. That tells them.
Well-
So that's how we just.
okay.
So you just want to monetize it, basically.
What I'm asking, I thought you were saying that they do turn in an actuals.
At the end.
That's what I'm saying, but why don't those end up in our packet so that we can take a look at those once they're,
I believe they have.
Because-
The person has come to the board.
Because that's the budget, that they turn the actual receipts after the event.
Yeah. that's
We
what we're
need the
talking about.
budget before the receipt.
No, no, no,
before
we're
they
talking two
To
things.
give them money, which are two different things.
Yeah, we're talking about two different things. What
Right, so
Aaron's
we
talking
need
about is
so we
can
need
we
to-
add to the packet the final
yeah,
after
like
the
once,
event?
what I'm saying is, once we receive the actuals at the end, like if we, because we're asking, this,
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I've asked for both, and
I know, but I'm saying, we're asking for both an emotion, but maybe we only need to ask for one in emotion, but I'm also asking the actual, why aren't they, once we receive them, why aren't they on?
there should be two motions.
Yeah.
One for.
So,
one
but
for
we're
the
gonna
budget,
wait until next
and then
month
one
after
for the
we have the agreement. Yes,
Yes.
we're gonna wait until next month until we have the agreement.
Oh, I see, we're gonna have
The
a,
agreement doesn't actually have the
So maybe,
budget.
can we put that on next month?
Okay.
Let's revamp it.
Yeah. The problem is the agreement may not be in the form of a budget for us to have. Are the agreements that you have with them, that they sign, do they have a budget?
No, we're just, we're gonna get the agreement for next month and then we're gonna add to that agreement.
but I think, don't
We
we
want to do an agreement review of the current agreement and then make additions for a budget on
I
it.
see,
We
okay.
will give you the application and we will give you the agreement, also include the list that they're supposed to fill out.
Yes.
So when they do their advertising,
Yeah.
so we have that.
Okay. and
Yeah, then we'll all have it in front of us.
Then we can adjust those for these needs.
Okay, no motion. I'm sorry, I feel like we've had this conversation before. I may be dreaming.
Only about the adjustments afterwards. not about
Yeah.
the budget before.
Yeah, right.
So we have made a motion and carried to give the Restorative Vet Committee $1,000 for that, which puts this grant application aside and completed. Are we reviewing the trail net application?
I thought this was gonna be.
Yeah, that's,
We had a meeting with TrailNet, they rescinded their grant.
Right, and then it,
So,
let's see.
I know,
You had a letter from them about that was
Yeah.
20%, and that was part of the grant, of the previous grant.
no,
That's
that,
probably a slight.
I'm sorry, yeah, and I didn't look through the packet, that's my bad, so I apologize.
So that is not a grant application.
No,
Okay,
There was a thank you letter, so.
there was a thank you letter in there?
yeah, it was a thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with it.
so any other business before the board? Next meeting, April 15th, 5:30 here, same place. And
Move to adjourn.
we're adjourned.
I just.